We are coming to the close of the book, and I've chosen a subject that comes at the end to elaborate upon because I think it ought to be the focal point of contemporary Jewry. I think it makes us think about where we are today as a unique generation in a unique time. We studied, at the close of the book, the 13 principles of Maimonides. They are the basic beliefs of every Jew. We repeat them in the Ani Mamins and in the Yigdal prayer. I believe with perfect faith, and the Yigdal is a summary in shorter form of what Maimonides says a Jew must believe in. Towards the end, we speak of that faith that the Jews who went to their deaths in the Holocaust would sing. It became a song associated with the final moments of life of Jews who nonetheless, although they knew they were facing extinction, believed fervently the Viat HaMoshiach in the coming of Messiah. God promised it to us. God said it would happen someday. And Afa Pisha Yismamea, even though he tarried, we are certain that he will nonetheless come soon. That is our belief. And I would like to explain to you why that belief is so much more significant and so much more relevant for us today. The first thing I want to clarify for you is a number and the meaning of that number. You know that we are now in a year of the Hebrew calendar 5755. I would hope that this course is studied for years beyond, and if it is 56 or 57, please pay no notice to the number that I've put down. But when we're doing this course right now, it's 5755. Are you aware of a tradition amongst our people, repeated at least 2 times in the Talmud and countless times in Kabbalistic teachings, that this world as we know it is pre-programmed to last a fixed number of years, and that total is 6,000 in entirety? We begin the count on day 6. That really means that Rosh Hashanah does not commemorate the creation of the world. It commemorates the creation of mankind, Adam and Eve. Very important. And it is with regard to that date that we use the number that I have up here, 5755, as well as the number that I have below it. There are many times when in Jewish tradition there is a conflict, a machloket, a disagreement. That's the nature of our people. We understand that. But what's remarkable about this is that it is universally accepted. That is to say, all Jewish scholars are in agreement with this information that I'm giving you now. It appears in the Talmud in the following manner. Tana debei Eliyahu. We have learnt from the house of Elijah. Isn't that an interesting introduction? Yes, from the house of Elijah. It is a tradition that goes back to our past from those who have inside information. We have learned from the house of Elijah, Sheit Alfei Shni Hava Alma. This world is destined to last 6,000 years. Do you know why that figure is used? Because 6 is an interesting number in terms of the creation story. The 6 stages, the 6, quote, days. God says, I will let this world last 1,000 years per day. There's a verse which says that. Ki elef shonim yenecho kayom. 1,000 years are like a day, that is to say, the day of creation. And then what? then a Sabbath to existence. Shabbat, we're double soul. We are more of a spiritual existence than a physical existence. That's what's going to happen in the year 6000. Don't ask me for details. I don't know them. They're not accessible to us. They shouldn't be spoken about. But a Sabbath to history means earth will no longer be as it is. We will live a totally different kind of life. By we, I mean our souls. It will be a spiritual existence. There is no more world after the year 6000. Which means something extremely significant in terms of the prediction as well as the major belief that we're talking about right now concerning the coming of Messiah. Mashiach must at some point happen in human history. It would be a mistake for you to say that what I've been trying to get across to you is that Messiah will come in the year 6000. That isn't true at all. Messiah can't come in the year 6000 for a simple reason that in the year 6000 he has no place to come to anymore. There is no more world. You're following that the Messianic belief is one which clearly must occur within human history. Human history lasts only till the year 6000. The age in which Messiah is to make his appearance and for which we have a Messianic era must be sometime before the year 6000, and I would dare suggest it must last a significant amount of time. Even now, I'd like to remind God that he doesn't have too much time left. Tell me, even if he were to come at this very moment, the Messianic age would only last 245 years. We've been talking about this. The prophets have been predicting it and making us long for it for millennia. How long is this age? I dare say it must have some time period to it that is significant. Do you know why there has to be a Messianic age? Do you know what this principle is predicated upon? Our sages clarify. There's a simple reason going back to original creation and a story in the Torah. God created Adam and Eve and placed them where? In Gan Eden. Paradise. Paradise is the way in which human beings should have lived, and then we sinned. We were cast out of paradise. Do you remember the text? Did God destroy Gan Eden? No, the text is quite clear. He placed an angel in front of it to prevent us from re-entering. If we would never come back again, God would have destroyed it. He just said temporarily, it's off limits. But there was an ideal kind of existence planned by God. God's ideal existence cannot be thwarted forever. There must be a time when we will finally reach that level whereby we are worthy to enjoy the world as God intended. There are three views of history, and I'd like to diagram them for you. The Chinese believe that history is a line going down. We started with the ancients. They knew far more than we. Progressively, civilization means a decline. The Western view has a different line. It goes up. They were primitive a long time ago. They didn't know as much as we. We have science. We have technology. We keep progressing. Progress and history are identical. And what is the Jewish view? Neither this nor this. Not lines, but a circle. If we started here, we started on top. We started in paradise. God said this is what ought to be. We were cast out because of our sin. We eventually are to complete the circle and come back to where we came from. The initial creation is the ideal, and the ideal cannot be thwarted forever. Gan Eden equals Mashiach. Now, if this is something that was predicted for so many years, it must be able to be fulfilled in somewhat of a time period, as I indicated, and we have very few years left to go. We do know, however, that there is a certain plan, because the next major point I would like to make for you is that history is not haphazard. History has an order, a divine order. Do you know there is a holiday which represents our declaration that God is involved in history? You know the name of the holiday, of course, it's Pesach. Pesach because I am the Lord your God who took you out of the land of Egypt, the house of bondage. When commentators ask, why doesn't God identify himself as I am the Lord your God who created the heavens and the earth? The answer is that would simply mean there is a creator. But that doesn't prove that God is still involved or that he cares. When God took us out of Egypt, we saw that he is involved in history. He is the caring God. And if God is involved in history, and he has a plan for it ending with a Messianic age, then history has an order. What is the word for order in Hebrew?
Seder.
Seder, how interesting. And what is the ritual and the service for Passover night? It is the Seder, not because there is an order to the gefilte fish and the chicken soup, but because there is a more significant order. What we are declaring is the theme of the holiday, God involved in history, follows a certain predestined order. If there were no order to history, we might never reach a Messianic age. An order to history, a Seder, means God preordained that time period, and again, sometime before the year 6000. This world has a warranty, and when the warranty expires, just like all the products that we buy, they expire. This world is 6,000 years. That is a given, and Messiah is a given sometime before the year 6000.